Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me in my craft room at Random Acts of Crafting. So come on in and let's get started with what we're going to do today. Now I have done some prep work because I wanted to try to keep the video to a minimum. I know sometimes we get a little frustrated when the videos run over. So I'm trying to keep my videos, I know yesterday was about an hour because I did a lot of coloring, and that's what I'm going to use today. I pulled out a couple of things here. I used 2 punches, and I'm going to pull out everything that I used. I used this butterfly punch. I used this label punch, and this is the story label. Both of these punches are from Stampin' Up. So everything that I used is not Stampin' Up, but the 2 punches definitely are. The butterfly paper, that was from an older series of their paper, and it went with the butterfly punch. And when Krista Cobb sent me Happy Mail, she sent me some of this butterfly paper, which was perfect because this butterfly punch punches these out absolutely perfect. And as you can see, my butterfly is going to match my my flowers and my card and everything. So that's how I did that. I also have 2 embossing folders. I have this butterfly embossing folder, and this is an Anna Griffin just sort of a swirly pattern. So I'm going to show you how I use those. This is the image that we colored yesterday on camera. So I'm going to show you how I use this on a card to really make a statement. I'm also using a piece of the paper, the Dots and Stripes from Echo Park. So I have this pack in my store, so if you're interested in picking up one, it is 8x8, 24 double-sided sheets. One side has your dots, the other side your stripes. It is a beautiful paper pad. The colors are very springy, so if you're looking for a good paper pack for the spring, I would recommend this one. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move my punches. Like I said, I did use the butterfly punch to punch out this butterfly, and it punched beautifully. So pleased with the way these punches perform. I punched out 2 of the yellow ones, and I glued them together. And you see where I glued them together? But when we stamp our sentiment and put it in the middle, you will not be able to see that, and it will just frame it beautifully. So that's another way to use your punch to get even more out of it. So I'm going to set these punches to the side because we're not going to be punching. This is a solid piece of the Aberdeen Brutus Monroe cardstock, and I embossed this with that butterfly folder, and that turned out really pretty. Now I need to decide if I want to use my butterflies for the top, or if I want to put the butterflies kind of under and have this maybe to the top, or do I want the polka dots? I really haven't gotten that far with this, so we're going to come along together and see if we can make this work. I do have my card base. My card base is a 6x6, and all I did was I took a 12x12 sheet of white cardstock. I cut it in half at 6 inches, and then I scored it at 6. So that gives me this beautiful 6x6 card. I love a 6x6 card. There's just something about it that, to me, just, I don't know, you've got a lot of real estate here to work on. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put this beautiful piece of yellow that I embossed. See how that's embossed? Isn't that pretty? So we're going to glue this down to the card itself, the card base. So I'm going to go ahead and get some art glitter glue on here. And I'm just going to be generous because with me embossing this, the deboss side is underneath, which means you got some nooks and crannies in there. So I want to make sure that that glue hits everywhere that it needs to in order to adhere this down. So let's see, I think that looks good right there. Alright, so now I need to decide I love a layered card, and I've heard some of you say that y'all are in love with layered cards, and I am too. Now I'm going to put this kind of, you know, off-centered, I thought about doing it like that, because we're going to trim these off, whatever sticks over, we're just going to trim those. But I really like, yeah, I think I like the stripe on this one for some reason. Y'all know I love my polka dots, but for some reason, this card seems like to me, I think I'm going to put this down just like this. I'm not going to try to overthink it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that piece over. I know I want this piece to come to this point. So once you get it laid down, if you think that you cannot remember, take yourself a pencil. You can always erase the pencil mark. I'm just going to grab a pencil right here. Oops. Didn't need a paintbrush, I just needed a pencil. So I'm going to know that that top needs to go right there. I'm going to lay this right here, and this right there. Now these little marks will show me exactly where I want to line this up at. So when I get ready to put it down, I will have these little tick marks, and I can erase those. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And again, you have that deep all sides, so you know, be generous with your glue. Especially around your edges, because you definitely want those to adhere. So I am going to line that up like this, up to here. Oops. Down to there and over to there. That's close enough. Then that gives me the opportunity to come back and just very gently take off those little tick marks. Just like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, but this one I'm going to lay more like this. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a tick mark here, one here, and maybe a line right there. And then we're going to glue this down. And I will have all the dimensions of these pieces in the description, so you don't have to worry about whether you are getting the right size of paper. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and measure them here. So we know that our card base was 6 by 6. So now let's measure our mat. And this was 5.5 by 5.5, your yellow mat. And then these mats, the solid purple is 4.25 by 5 3/8. Okay, 5 3/8. And I probably need to write, this piece is going to be 4 by 5.25. Now I've got all my measurements down so I can make sure that I put those in for y'all. And I will drop them in as I show the pieces, so you'll already have these. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to turn this over, and I'm going to use a long pair of scissors. So let's get this pair right here. And all I want to do is trim off wherever this cardstock is hanging over. And see, it's not stuck down really good right there, and I do want it to be stuck. So I'm just going to come in and trim that off. And I'm going to do the same thing over here and try to get some leverage here. I'm going to come in right there and cut that off. So those little pieces are not hanging over now, but we still have the same integrity of our card. So what I want to do with this beautiful little flower sprig that we colored so beautifully yesterday. I was really pleased with the way this turned out, and I had so many of y'all to compliment. I actually got more compliments on my little elephant than I did the flowers. Everybody was totally in love with this little elephant, and I will make a card and I will put that elephant on it, so stay tuned for that. That is coming. Because I want to show you how you can use your pieces. I'm going to get some dimensionals because I want to pop this flower up. It's too pretty not to make it the highlight of your card. So let me grab my little picky tool, and all I'm going to do is pick up some of these dimensionals. I'll turn this over, and I'm going to scatter these around on my piece, getting them, you know, where I need them. I want this to sit up, but I don't want it to, I want to make sure that I get a lot of these little edges down. So I'm being careful to make sure I get dimension in strategic places. I don't know how y'all have been during the pandemic, and we got a sheltered in order yesterday for my county, and our governor has not been proactive enough to shut down the entire state. He's been kind of leaving it to the local counties to make their decision. So they finally said yesterday that my county, which I live in Gaston County in North Carolina, and they finally decided to put us under a shelter in. So we will be sheltered in starting at 5 p.m. this afternoon, and today is Friday. So you know, it's real. It's definitely real. So that's going to sit up just like that, and I think that's going to be so pretty. So we're going to pull these backers off. And I love using my little picky tool for that. It makes it so easy to pull these off, and to also kind of move them to the side where you can throw these all away when you're finished. So I've been enjoying church service online on Sunday mornings. I think they did their Wednesday night service, but I didn't catch that one yet. The good thing about that, you know, if it's online, you can always go back and watch it. So that's definitely a blessing. And I can share that link with any of y'all that would like it. If you don't have a home church that you are attending and you just need some inspiration right now, I'll be more than glad to share the church link with you. I'm sure that you will get a great blessing out of listening to the Word. I'm just making sure these are all up. I got all the pieces off. I'm just going to scoot those over out of my way for right now, because what I want to do is concentrate on getting this piece exactly where I want it. So I'm going to turn my card so it's nice and straight, and then I'm going to use this to put this down, just like that. Now that's beautiful by itself, but now I've got this little sentiment that I want to put right here, and I want to stamp, and I'm going to use one of Bill and Tracy's from Mindless Crafting stamp set, and this is Spread Your Wings. And this particular stamp set has been one of my favorite because it is it's just always a really good stamp. I love the images. They color really well. And I am going to grab some ink, and I will be right back, and we're going to stamp this Rise Above It on this card. I think that would be a good encouraging card to send to someone. And I'll be right back. Alright, we are back, and I have a stamp block, and I also have my stamp, Rise Above It, and I am going to pull over my white piece away from my card. I'm going to go ahead and line up my stamp on my mat, making sure that I get it nice and straight. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Now, I'm not worried about stamping this off. I have used this stamp quite a bit, so it is a well-loved stamp, which means it's seasoned. And when a stamp is seasoned, you're not going to have any trouble stamping it. So I'm going to come up about like that. Let's make sure this is nice and straight. And I'm just going to let that sit there. I'm not going to wiggle or anything else. I'm just going to let it just kind of sit there and absorb. And I want to shout out to Margie. Thank you so much. She told me in one of the comments on my video from yesterday when I was doing the coloring that she wasn't worried about my nails, that she'd like to watch me do my magic. So thank you. That made me chuckle. But I did get my nails done. Okay, right above it. That turned out really good. So I am going to lay that over there. And now I want to decide, and I think I'm going to bring this up on dimensionals. I think I want this to sit up just a little bit. So I'm going to get a piece of Scotch foam tape. And just a little piece to go across the back. And remember, we cut this strip the other day, so I had this piece already waiting. And I think this is going to work really good because we're going to cut this in half. And I'm going to put one piece right here. And one right there. And then I want one piece to go across the back of this. So this piece is going to be shorter because I just need it to go from here to there. So let's go ahead and get that peeled off. And then I'm going to center this up. And move my tape out of my lap. And I'm going to hold that just like this because I want it to look like it's a part of the piece, because I taped those two, I glued those two pieces together just to give me that look of this being, that is what I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to peel off my backers. And, oops. And I think I want to angle this. I really am loving the angles that I've got going on here. So I think I'm going to drop that just about like that, rise above it, and I want this butterfly to sit right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue on the little bottom pieces right here and here. And this will give this butterfly some dimension without giving it dimension. Now I am going to use my little tool just to press that down because I want to make sure that it sticks. There we go. Isn't that a beautiful card? I love the way this turned out. I think this is gorgeous. And if you wanted to put some more butterflies through here, you've got plenty of room in here to put more butterflies. So, you know, you make it yours. Like I said, you know, I do my cards for y'all to have inspiration. So use what you got and see what you can come up with. But now on the inside, I do want to put down a mat. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to do maybe a piece of the purple. Let me grab some purple cardstock. And I'm going to look in my scraps and see if I've got a piece large enough. Nope, I don't think I do, so we're just going to grab a piece out of the pack. I do have some more Brutus Monroe cardstock coming in, so if anybody is interested in getting any, I've got some beautiful colors coming in, and I will let y'all know once I receive those. And I'm telling you, if you ever use this, if you ever use the Brutus Monroe cardstock, you will be hooked. It is the best quality cardstock on the market, in my opinion. I haven't used a lot, but in my opinion, now this is a 6-inch card, so I am going to bring this over to 5 3/4 because that's what I want my mat to be. So we'll cut that off, and then we're going to take it to 5 3/4. And that will give us our mat. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a yellow on top of this to stamp my sentiment. I am going to use a stub punch or the scallop. I think I'm going to do the stub. I really like the way the stub looks on the corners of the card. So I'm going to just drop that in and punch it. And punch it. And punch. Sorry about the interruption. That was my baby girl. She called. She has an uncanny way of always calling when I'm recording, and I really need to take my phone out. And but you know, sometimes you don't want to miss a call if it's an emergency. So I usually keep my phone in here with me, and it is what it is. But anyway, we'll just pick right back up where we left off, and that was, I did clip, punch each one of those little corners to give me that little stub punch. And I'm just going to glue this down. And once I get that in, now I think I'm going to use another white piece like I did the card with. Although I love that yellow. I am loving the yellow. Let's see if I have a scrap of that yellow. I'm going to take the card with me over to my scraps and see if I can match that up. Because y'all know how it is with yellows. You can have so many different shades. And no, I don't think I have another piece that same color. So that's what happens when you go in the scrap bin. You don't always find the same color. You know, this might work. It's a little bit different, but I don't think it's enough to be that noticeable. That is pretty close. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to cut this down to 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And let's get my pen back in my glue, and let's bring the trimmer over. And we're going to do this one at 5 1/2. So 5 1/2. And let's see what we have here. Hopefully this will be close to 5 1/2. Yeah, pretty close. So I'm just going to slice that little edge off, and then I am going to come back in here and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to do that little stub punch just to give a little bit more interest to our corners. And this will give us a great place to put our sentiment, and I love the way that looks. I love the layers, and I just love the way that come together. So let's go ahead and decide how we're going to stamp this, because y'all know what I always do. I say stamp before you, I think I am going to do a butterfly, and I am going to cut a butterfly, or stamp a butterfly, on a little piece of, let's see, I've got a little piece of white scrap over here. This is kind of wrinkled, but you know, I think we can get away with it. Well, let's go ahead and try it. We're going to do one of these butterflies. I'm just going to put him right there and stamp him down. Again, I know that this butterfly is well seasoned, and he is going to stamp just fine. We've done a lot of these butterflies. Beautiful, beautiful image. And so this time I think I'm going to use my, since I use my VersaFine, I'm going to use my Tombow markers to color this butterfly. And I'm going to pick probably 3 colors. I'm going to do this blue, maybe 4. I'm going to use this blue. Actually, I think I want, let's choose a different palette. Let's do a red, a yellow, a green, and a purple. I think those colors would look really pretty together. Or do I want pink? I think I want pink. You know what they say, it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Yes, I like these. I love the green and the pink together, and I love the yellow with the purple. So let's color our butterfly. So I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to color around in here. And I do love the Tombows when I'm doing small details like this. I think they're perfect. And I'm going to use this yellow. Just like that. And then I think we need a little bit of green. Y'all know that I love to put my little readers on when I'm coloring. For some reason, it just helps me to stay in my lines. Now I'm being very gentle when I'm putting this color down because I do not want to put too much color or too much of the marker. So I'm being very light-handed. These are water-based. They will warp your paper. They will also, unless you're using a watercolor paper, they will cause your paper to roll. And if anybody's ever had that to happen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're putting down too much of your ink, and it's water-based ink, so it will make your paper roll. So the way to get around that is if you are heavy-handed with your coloring, I would suggest using a watercolor paper, or either try going in with a much lighter hand. And let it dry and then come back if you don't feel like you're getting enough of color on it. You can always come back and put some more color down. Not a problem. Now look at that little butterfly. He is really coming to life, isn't he? I'm going to use my pink right here. And then I think I'm going to do the pink right here. And maybe there. Oops. And I want a green up here. And then I think I'm going to do a purple right here. And we will do purple here. And then we're going to put yellow in right here. And then we got these little dots, and I'm just going to make them yellow because I feel like they will stand out on the black. So there we go. There is our little butterfly. Just that quick we were able to cut this gorgeous little butterfly. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to fussy cut him out. I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of a border around him. You know, kind of bubble cut him a little bit. I need to get this excess paper off because it's in my way. I like to cut my piece out, and then I can control going around it a lot better. So it helps me just to get that piece of paper out of my way. And then I can just trim him out. Just like that. And I think what I'm going to do for his little wings, I'm not going to try to trim them. I'm just going to go around them. I mean his antlers, not his wings. His wings are not a problem. But these little antlers could be. But I don't want to cut them off because I think it takes away from the integrity of our butterfly. I think he needs antlers. Antennas. Oh my goodness. I did not sleep last night, y'all. I had a really rough night, and I am feeling it today. So he's going to go right there. And let's get our yellow piece. Let's see, we're going to put this down right here. Our butterfly's going to go right here, or maybe here. I like him up in this top corner. Okay, now I need to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the stamp that says spread your wings, and I'm going to put the little butterfly in the middle that's going to be like an and, dream big. So we're going to put this down right here, and I'm going to put this right here so it's going to act as the and dream big. Just like that. So I'm going to grab a bigger stamp block that I know this will fit on. And I'm going to pick that up just like that. And let's go ahead and ink this up. Y'all, look what I did. I got ink all over my block. That's okay. We'll just wipe it off, and we are going to come in right about here, and I'm eyeballing it. I'm going to let that sit there just for a moment. Beautiful. I really like the way that turned out. I want to take this butterfly and I want it to kind of sit right there, but let's go ahead and glue this down first. I'll let that sit a little bit longer because this is a textured paper and I wanted to make sure that it would adhere to it. So that's why y'all saw me let it sit a little bit longer than I normally would. So I am going to set that down right about, oops, trying not to get my head in the camera, y'all, but yet still get this on here straight. That looks pretty good. It's like I smudged my ink a little bit right there. You know what? We can cover that up with the butterfly. How cute would that be? So, I'm going to just glue this down. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here, and we're going to glue him down right there to cover that ink spot. Nobody has to know. And there is our beautiful card that says rise above it, spread your wings and dream big. What a nice card of encouragement to give to anyone. I love the way that turned out. I think it's very pretty. And we used some items that we had made yesterday. So anytime you make some embellishments like this, try using them on a card. That's the reason we do our embellishments. So, you know, if you're just sitting at night, stamp out some embellishments. And if you've got one of those little lap tables or whatever, put that in your lap and grab your markers and sit there and color some images and fussy cut them. And then you'll have those ready when you are ready to make your cards. So I hope y'all enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you drew some inspiration from it. And I also hope that that I inspired you in some way to kind of step out of your box, try something different. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. And there. I love the way this card turned out. I thought it was very pretty. It has a message. I think we can go back out just a little bit. Yeah. But I love the way it turned out. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. In this time that we're experiencing right now with being sheltered in and having to be more of a homebody than what a lot of us are accustomed to, take this time to craft. Take this time to spend time with family. Take this time to pray. Take this time to read the Word. And most of all, take this time to draw close to God. I think that's what He wants us to do. So, in closing, I want to just tell you that I care about you, I love you, I'm praying for each and every one of you, and stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Lord Jesus. He is so worthy of our praise. He's so worthy of us to humble ourselves before Him. He laid His life down for us. This is the least we can do. So, until we craft again, God bless each and every one of you. I love you, and bye-bye.